All right, it is time for the next limited time series. This one featuring an older GT3 car that we've had in the game for some time now. Bentley Continental GT3. And this one, we only get 5 days to complete 15 tiers, 45 trophy events to win. If you don't own the car, win the car, plus 30 gold and some 250,000 motorsport dollars. So yeah, with 5 days, it is going to be expiring on the 24th of June, the Thursday coming up. So now that puts kind of a cap on like what you can do, because there's only so much motorsport dollars you can earn in a day. So to meet the PR requirement, which they mention is 83.2 on their website, you would have to pretty much get just about every motorsport dollar upgrades available on this car and possibly a couple of gold upgrades, which means it will cost you some, oh gosh, just under 3 million motorsport dollars. So that means you are, well, if you farm 250,000 every day for the 5 days, and then you're pushing it till the very end of the event to really farm, the max you can farm is 120 or 1,250,000, which means still leaves you then some maybe a little less than 1.7 million motorsport dollars in deficit. You know what I mean? Which means that has to be about what you already have in the bank minimum to be able to afford to 100% complete this bonus series, unless you decide to obviously spend real money and buy additional motorsport dollars. Then there's always way out for that, but I don't think it's worth it. Just, be patient, work your way. It's all good. So, yeah, so let's look into this bonus series and find out what we got here. Bentley Continental GT3 Championship. We've had this limited time series for this car in the past, so this is sort of one of those reruns, right? So earn a 2018 Bentley Continental GT3 by 100% completing this special limited time series, blah 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 blah. Classically, behemoth Bentleys are changing directions, with the 2018 Continental GT3 being significantly lighter and aerodynamic than its predecessors. Right, and its competition is pretty good. The McLaren 720S GT3 and Porsche 911 GT3R. Those two are pretty good in their own right. So, alright, so for the rewards, here's the breakdown of 25% completion rewards. So, or 25% increment, right? So first 25% gets you 25,000 motorsport dollars plus 3 gold, and the 50% completion gets you 50,000 motorsport dollars plus 6 gold. 75% completion gets you 75,000 motorsport dollars plus 9 gold, and 100% completion gets you the remaining 100,000 motorsport dollars plus 12 gold, making up total of 250,000 motorsport dollars as the completion bonus and 30 gold. Right. So actually this limited time series, compared to the first time when we ran through this, the payout is actually greater. I know PR requirement is bumped up as well, but with this limited time series PR requirement, you will be able to 100% complete the 2020 GT3 season, and you will be that much closer to unlocking that exclusive series that I already posted the overview and few of the playthrough videos of, right? So yeah, I think these GT3 cars kind of need that exclusive series. They're not terribly expensive to unlock, and yes, payout isn't as great either, but still, I think it's entry fee is relatively more affordable. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, here I'll use gold to unlock all the all tiers, and we'll confirm what we got here. So 562 instantly completed. All right, so there's a 250,000 Motorsport dollar bonus and 30 gold. Right. And right, 100% complete. So let's hop in and find out what we can do. All right, so first thing first, what is the final PR requirement? And oh, what do you know? It is 0.1 PR point less than what they published, 83.1. All right, and we do get 24 hours of instant service, and I'd assume if you don't have your car fully upgraded, you will receive the instant upgrade offer as well. So, all right, that's good to know, since some of the later upgrades will take, like, I think the longest upgrade time on this car is about like 3 hours and 20 minutes. I think that's the last Motorsport dollar upgrade on body. So yeah, all right, so PR 83.1. I believe if you get 6 upgrades across the board, you should be covered. So you would need gold upgrade on drivetrain and gold upgrade on suspension, but you don't need to get the final gold upgrades on body and brakes. So drivetrain is 60 gold and suspension is 55 gold, so that'll cost you 115 gold, right? But you get 30 of it back, so all in all, that's not too bad. But yeah, you're gonna need to, Motorsport dollars is gonna be playing bigger role, I feel like, in this particular case, simply because they put a cap on how much you can earn per day. And yeah, it is I would say pricey upgrades, just simply because there's so many that you gotta get, right? Like all of them, right? All the Motorsport dollar upgrades you're gonna need. And if it comes between spending gold versus spending Motorsport dollars to upgrade, I would say it's better to spend Motorsport dollars that you can always earn back. So hopefully you guys been taking my advice and floating at least a couple of million Motorsport dollars in your bank throughout. So when events like this come around, you can easily afford it, right? So yeah. And of course, we haven't had any reason to spend any Motorsport dollars unless you went out and just blasted all of it on, I guess, the Formula E car, well, you cannot really buy them yet unless you buy last year's, right? Or if you bought the NASCARs, then yeah, you don't want to blast through those. Always float at least a couple of million is my advice, especially when you got these events coming up. Yeah. All right, so but that means in this bonus series, obviously if you can meet the PR requirement, just run through, collect 30 gold and 250,000 motorsport dollar bonus plus the earning. Now, if they give you 24 hours to for the instant service, so the wise way to do it would be at least split it into 2 days. By that, I mean you're most likely going to max out the 250,000 motorsport dollar earning cap multiple instances if you run through 15 tiers of this limited time series. So you are, not really maximizing the potential of your earnings if you just do it in one sitting in first day only. So at least that way, if you split it basically halfway between the, when your daily cap resets, right? So start a few hours before the daily cap resets, max out, because I am thinking it doesn't take that many races, that many tiers to, get to 250,000 motorsport dollars earning. Not talking the extra bonus that you get for the percentile completion, but just race earnings, right? So, so get the 250,000 from the first day, and then get the other 250,000 on the second day, and you can complete the event then. So while the instant service offer is still going. So that would be the strategy that I think I'm going to be taking. Kind of split it into 2 halves, so to speak. Anyway, so that's a way to maximize your racing to go towards, go count towards something. Anyway, let's look into the series itself and check out what kind of PR requirement is required to earn and complete this. So obviously you guys already know 83.1 is what's necessary to complete this limited time series to win the car if you don't own it. The car itself is worth 1.3 million motorsport dollars, so obviously you can buy it. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to run through this, but the incentive to run through this limited time series would be to get those earnings, right? So, but it does cost you, the total motorsport dollar cost for upgrading, like every single motorsport dollar upgrades available, is 2,918,643 motorsport dollars. Brings your PR up to 81.5, which obviously is not quite enough to meet the PR requirement of 83.1. Maxed out, it does go up to 84.4. That is at the cost of some 230 gold. So yeah, and then if you max it out, then you get 30 of it back, which means you are down 200 gold, but you would have access to the exclusive series where there's some additional 50 gold reward. So 150 gold out. And also if you're thinking if you haven't completed the GT3 season, then, well, actually, there's no gold reward in that season, so 150 is what you'll be out for maxing out this car. Yeah, that's not too bad, right? Considering the cost of things these days in this game. Anyway, here, let's start with the tier 1. Actually, you know what? Let's check into the tier 4, which is your 25% completion tier. PR requirement here is 71.6. 71.6, obviously you don't need to spend as many motorsport dollars to meet that PR requirement, which means you're gonna be able to, without spending any gold, you're gonna be able to actually get through a big chunk of this series. Let's see. Tier 7 cup is what you need to complete to have an access to 50% completion reward, and that PR requirement is 74.8. Ooh, 2-lap 24-hour circuit race. That is gonna have a pretty decent payout. The point I'm trying to make is you will definitely get past 250,000 motorsport dollar cap from this event multiple times. You can just tell, right? And then tier 11 cup is what you gotta get through to claim the 75% completion reward in the tier 12, and it requires PR 78.8. So obviously it's under 81.5, which means yeah, 75% completion is doable without spending a single gold. So that's not too bad. You earn, I know, whopping 18 gold by doing that. And let's see, there is also, let's say what, 150,000 motorsport dollars you get to earn back. So something to consider. And obviously 100% completion, you need all of it. But anyway, let's run through tier by tier now. All right, tier 1, we got Speed Snap at the Brickyard Road Course, Autocross at Spa, and the Cup is going to be at Melbourne, 2 laps. All right, so yeah, these events are gonna pay out reasonably well. I get a feeling. All right, tier 2, we got Drag Race at Red Bull Ring Grand Prix. Okay, that's not gonna pay a whole lot, but we got Endurance at Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix, so your distance may vary depending on your margin of victory, as always. And the Cup for tier 2 is gonna be at Suzuka East. PR 68.7 is required for this 3-lap Cup. Tier 3, Speed Snap at Monza Road Course. Alright, so that takes place towards the Lesmo, right? Before you come out of Lesmo is where the speed checkpoint is. And then we got head-to-head at the short on-road circuit of Porsche Test Track. Just a single lapper. And then Cup for tier 3 at Daytona Road Course, 2 laps, PR 70.2 required. All right, that one's gonna pay out pretty well too. Tier 4, we got Hunter at Bugatti Circuit, so that's a full lap. Autocross at the Brickyard Road Course, and that's one of the longer autocrosses, which just means payout is gonna be higher than, let's say, some other shorter autocrosses. And then the Cup at the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix is going to be the one for tier 4, 2 laps, PR 71.6 required. So let's see, that's going to pay, Red Bull Ring pays a little under 10,000 motorsport dollars per lap, but you got 2 laps, so see, these are gonna all add up. And then tier 5, We got Speed Snap at Silverstone National, so that's a relatively short one. Another drag race, this one at Catalunya Grand Prix. And then we got a Spa Cup 2 laps, so you know that's gonna pay what, around 26,000 motorsport dollars. PR 72.7 required. So yeah, these add up pretty quickly, don't they? And tier 6, we got a Hunter at Monza Road Course, so that's a full lap, so that's about 10,000 motorsport dollars. Speed record at Melbourne, that's a full lap. Melbourne not as long, but you know, I'd expect to get paid what, about maybe 6,000-7,000, maybe a little less. And then Cup for tier 6, Nürburgring Sprint Circuit, 3 laps, PR 73.8 required. So all right, with 3 laps, that's gonna pay maybe a little over 100, maybe a little over 10,000, right? And yeah, so at least like these tiers, because of the cup races, they're all paying out over, at least over 10, closer to 20,000 motorsport dollars, right? So you got, let's say, how long? That's 2 laps. Okay, that's not gonna be quite 20, but okay, 3 laps Suzuka not paying out as much either, but Daytona Road Course 2 laps will pay out reasonably well, and Red Bull Ring, of course, and of course further on you go in the series, you know, you got longer races, which means the payout is going to be higher. And yeah, Spa, that's going to pay pretty high. So, and then of course tier 7, we got Endurance at Laguna Seca, Speed Snap at Silverstone Bridge Grand Prix circuit, and the Cup at the 24-hour circuit, the 2 laps, right? So that's gonna pay a pretty high motorsport dollar rewards. So yeah, would you reach 250,000 by this point? Maybe. Let's see. Probably not by this point, but you're gonna get pretty close to it, I think. We'll find out when I run through it. So anyway, then we got tier 8, elimination at Daytona Motorcycle Course. So that one, obviously, you gotta survive. So elimination pays around 11,000 motorsport dollars no matter where you run, because it's timed. You have to, you know, race for a certain duration of time, right? And then the drag race takes place at the long on-road Porsche test track. It's a drag race. And the tier 8 cup is at Hockenheim National. 3 laps, PR 75.8 required. Let's see, how much would that pay out? Maybe around 15,000? Maybe? You know, so tier 8 pays out, like, combined with that elimination, I feel like it'll pay out about 25, 26, maybe a little under 30,000. So yeah, some of these longer race tiers are paying out closer to 30,000, which means, you know, you don't need that many to hit 250,000. So yeah. Anyway, tier 9, we got Autocross at Mount Panorama, Speed Snap at Monza Junior Course. That's a pretty easy one, typically. And the Cup for tier 9 takes place at Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix, and 3 laps, PR 76.8 required. So that one's gonna pay out at least 30,000 plus motorsport dollars for those 3 laps here, tier 9. So yeah. Tier 10, we got a head-to-head, most likely a single lapper at the 24-hour circuit, so that's gonna pay out pretty well. Hunter at Suzuka Grand Prix, so that's a full lap as well, a Grand Prix circuit. Suzuka, that's a pretty lengthy one. So payout's gonna be pretty decent there. And Cup for Tier 10 takes place at Catalunya National, 4 laps. So that's gotta pay out at least 20,000 or so. So you see how quickly these later, especially these later tiers, start to rack up in motorsport dollars. So yeah, definitely split it into at least 2 days while still taking advantage of that instant service offer. That'll be my advice. PR 77.8 required here. Continuing on, Tier 11 speed record at Nürburgring Sprint Circuit. So that's a full lap. Not very long circuit, but still a full lap. And then we got endurance at Mount Panorama. Your distance may vary. And Tier 11 Cup at the Brickyard Road Course, 4 laps, PR 78.8 required. So yeah, that's gonna have a pretty decent payout as well. And then that takes us to Tier 12, the 75% completion tier. We got a head-to-head at the long on-road circuit of Porsche Test Track, single lap, and that one probably under 10,000 for a lap around that one, because it's not a very long circuit, even though it says long road circuit. It's longer than the other 2 variations at Leipzig, but you know. And then elimination, as I said earlier, this one takes place at Spa, but payout is going to be the same, around 11,000, right? And then the Cup is going to be at Dubai Grand Prix, 3 laps, so you know that's going to pay at least 30,000, if not more, most likely more, because Dubai Grand Prix circuit is actually pretty lengthy. I like that circuit, it's a fun one. PR 79.8 required for that. All right, Tier 13, we got Autocross at Nürburgring Sprint Circuit, Hunter at Suzuka East, pretty short one. And the Cup for Tier 13 takes place at Monza Road Course, 4 laps. So that's about 40,000 right there. PR 80.8 required. And then Tier 14, we got Endurance at Silverstone Grand Prix, Speed Snap at the 24-hour circuit, and the Cup at Mount Panorama. That's going to be a pretty lengthy one as well. 3 laps, so that once again pays at least 30,000, most likely more like 35, 36 maybe. Even more possibly. It might be closer to 37, 38. Or, yeah. Because Spa 3 laps pay out what, about 39, right? So Mount Panorama is not that much. I mean, the lengthwise they're pretty comparable. So I would assume the payout's going to be relatively close. And I'm basing this on the Formula One payout, because I think they do pay out similarly when it comes down to motorsport dollars, based on the length. So yeah. So anyway. PR 81.9 is required for that. Whoops. Come on. Get back in there. Where was I? Right. The penultimate tier. And finally, the last tier. Tier 15. We got head-to-head as Circuit of the Americas National. Single lap. Alright. That's going to be a bit shorter. We got Autocross at Laguna Seca. And then the Cup, the final Cup, takes place at the long on-road circuit of Porsche Test Track, 4 laps. So that one is going to be a little less pay in terms of motorsport dollar payout, but you're just going to have to finish it, right? If you want to win. PR 83.1 is what's required. So there you go. As I said, really the key thing that I can point out about this is, number 1, you need to have somewhere around 1.7 million motorsport dollars at the moment right now in order to actually be able to afford to complete this limited time series, right? That's number 1. And then number 2 thing is basically splitting the event into 2 separate days where your motorsport dollar 250,000 motorsport dollar earnings cap would you can basically spend across 2, so you can at least earn, instead of 250,000, you'll be able to earn 500,000, which you most likely will earn that and then some, right, by running through. And on top of that, you can pick up 250,000 additional series completion reward, right? So that is, decent payout, 750,000, right? And if you are not too concerned about the instant service offer, then you can probably spread it out even more and get your motorsport dollars to stretch even further. So then you probably can earn 1 million motorsport dollars from just running through this event, I think. So anyway, so those are some key points that I want to mention for this limited time series. But otherwise, I mean, it's a grinder you got to run through, right? So good luck to you. And in the next video, I'll probably attempt to make my way through this limited time series to pick up some gold and some motorsport dollar rewards as well. So all right, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.